Well, we are just days away from baseball's Midsummer Classic. MLB All-Star festivities get underway tonight ahead of Tuesday's All-Star game, where players from every team and tens of thousands of fans will descend on the city of Seattle, who's hosting this year's game. It's the first time Seattle's hosted the All-Star game in more than 20 years. And joining me now is Catie Griggs, president of the Seattle Mariners. Catie, you can count me in as somebody who wants to be in Seattle for the game. But, the All-Star game has always been a big showcase for the team hosting, for the stadium hosting, but also for the host city. How big of a bump are you expecting?
This is such an amazing event for all of Seattle and the Pacific Northwest. The Mariners are somewhat unique in that we represent not just the city of Seattle and the state of Washington, but a 5-state region across the Pacific Northwest. And this really is a celebration of baseball, a celebration of softball, and to your point, a celebration of our city and region. So we could not be more excited to be welcoming guests starting today.
What can we expect in terms of the festivities for the All-Star game? I'd imagine you've got some big partnerships as well with major companies in Seattle to really roll out the full experience.
Oh, that's exactly right. I think it's been a really fun lead up. We've been working on this for over 2 years, working with both public sector and private sector partners to really ensure that not only T-Mobile Park shines, but the entire city and region shines. So this is something where it's been a long path to get here. We're very excited for it. Now that Major League Baseball is here, there is nothing that we could be more proud of than to have the opportunity to host tonight's game for the first time ever, the HBCU Swingman Classic, featuring athletes from HBCUs and all of their all-stars. It's going to be the perfect way to kick off an event. The weather is gorgeous. We're going to launch with some fireworks this evening, and it only goes from there.
It's been a season of a lot of changes for Major League Baseball, particularly around the length of the game. We saw that the pitch count, or the pitch clock, I should say, for example, implemented. Part of that was the MLB's attempt to try and get viewership up. It feels like that has been effective so far, but I wonder how you assess the changes that have happened so far in the first half of the season.
Yeah, no, to your point, I think there's been a very proactive effort by Major League Baseball and by all of the clubs to make sure that we're reflecting the game that we want to see and that, more importantly, our fans want to see. And so with the changes that you saw this year, activity is up, to your point, ratings are up, fans are tuning in. It's been a lot of fun. Our athletes are enjoying it, our fans are enjoying it, and we're enjoying it, because ultimately it comes down to how do we grow the game and make sure that everyone else can fall in love with it the same way we have.
How much of that, though, do you attribute to the changes, particularly the length of time for each game? Because, I mean, we were talking about this. Baseball is a long game. Before any of this happened, we were talking 4 hours for some games.
Periodically you're getting 4 hours, but 3 hours was not at all uncommon, to your point. And I think what you're seeing is roughly 30 minutes have been shaved off the game, but you're not taking away any of the action. And I think that's what fans and even our athletes and our players are responding to so well, is you're getting all of the really fantastic athleticism that you had, but you're getting it in a little bit more of a condensed package. And we recognize it's not just about share of wallet, it's about share of watch. People have a lot of things that they could be choosing to invest their time and their energy into. And we want to make sure that baseball is something, when they're here, they're getting as much as they possibly can for that time and energy that they're expending and enjoying our game, enjoying our sport, and enjoying our team.
When you think about how viewers consume sports, that has certainly seen some changes as well. It's not just about TV packages anymore. It is also about the streaming side of things. We also know that there's a younger generation that is not looking at all the games, but sort of looking at shorter highlights. And that's how they're consuming games. And I wonder, when you think about trying to broaden out the reach of the Mariners and the fan base, how you think about the change in viewership habits there.
No doubt. It is definitely a media landscape that's evolved very significantly and continues to do so. As a mother of 2 young kids, I'm really aware that the way in which they choose to consume content is different than the way I did when I grew up. And so it's something that, as we look to ensure that we're growing the game, we're bringing in that next generation, we need to make sure that we're delivering it to them in the way that they want to receive it. And I think it's not just about the games, not just about the condensed highlights, all of those really fun moments that are directly about the sports, but it's also about showcasing our incredible players, showcasing the diversity of our game, telling the stories, showcasing their personalities, and making sure that people can find something to bond with, find something to connect to, find something where they can see themselves in another person. and make sure that they're attracted to the game that way. Because we recognize, and sometimes it's all about the incredible plays on the field. Sometimes it's about the fashion. Sometimes it's about the fun, the camaraderie. Sometimes it's simply about going and having a good time with your friends. We want to make sure that we're relaying that and allowing our fans to experience it both here in the ballpark, but also, to your point, through whatever media platform that they so choose.
Finally, Catie, you were talking about the diversity of the game. In many ways, you have become the face of changing diversity within Major League Baseball, the first female president over with the Mariners. We've also got another female president with the Marlins as well. You've also got Kim Ng, who is the GM of the Marlins. I mean, can you talk a bit about the changes that we have seen in the face of baseball, even though it's still very limited? And how do you think that changes the conversation within the league?
I think it's a good thing. The reality is females represent 50% of our market, the 50% of our fan base. And so recognizing that we are all better off when we're looking at the world through different lenses and making sure that collectively we're pointing out each other's blind spots and we're doing everything we can to make sure that we're presenting our sport, presenting the game that we love in the way that our fans want to receive it. And different fans want to receive it differently. And so having people who reflect those different life experiences and backgrounds being part of the conversation is a good thing.
Catie Griggs, the president of the Mariners. Good luck with the All-Star weekend. I'll be watching closely from afar.
Thanks so much
for joining us today.